He's over there by the Denny's now. We'll see if it'll... Nope, it's not going to zoom in. He was screaming at a car that was driving by, and the car was screaming back at him. Matter of fact, there's the car. And that vehicle too. That one just pulled a U-turn and is going around that way. This one's going around this way. Maybe it's time somebody called the cops before this gets, I don't know, violent. It looks like that guy is going over there specifically where that guy was yelling at him. And this car right here is... Alright. Fuck this goddamn country. Fucking blanket on and then go make sure that those motherfuckers don't go looking for trouble. Which looks like exactly what they're doing. Where the fuck is my goddamn cane? Fuck, I hate this fucking goddamn country so much. Full of fucking fake assholes, fucking violent pieces of shit, and fucking bullies. Where's the best place to find a bully? The fucking police department. Well, there's that car driving across there. Well, that doesn't exactly look pleasant. I don't know whose car that is. Alright, good. Just making sure there wasn't no dead people in there.
Oh, no, I'm alive. Might be a dead one over there from screaming.
Yeah, them cars followed him up that way and then flipped around and went back over there.
It's out there. Fuck, dude. People need to stop doing drugs.
This is every night. It ain't just the ones on drugs. A lot of them
That
kids
kid
too.
Is, when he starts using it, that's all he is.
That's pretty much the whole town too.
Well, the one kid is not here anymore that was doing it. Damn it. The black kid, he's fucking gone now, so he's not here.
Christian?
Yeah. I like Christian, but he started using it, fucking just out there. It's like, dude, stop. Then fucking Draven, he didn't fucking use it sounded like this. And the reason I told him no fucking like 8 times last time, he kept coming up, like, you can't handle the shit. No.
That's one of the things about coming to this state. I'm fine with people using. I'm just not fine with them taking advantage of folks or making things worse for all of us.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I won't do many things like that. Like I told him no. I started getting freaking mad at him. He kept fucking. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not gonna do anything for you. I'm like, you're young. You're like 19. I'm not gonna fucking do anything for you, dude. I'm like, stop asking me. I'm like, you can't handle your shit.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing with Christian. He kept coming up to my car wanting to see if I had any fentanyl or any blues. I had to tell him over probably 30 times, dude, I don't touch that shit. I lost too many friends. If you're going to use, that's on you, but...
I've done one blue, that's it.
Holy shit.
And that was just because it was like 5:30 in the morning and my dude wasn't awake by heroin. I stick with straight heroin.
That's one of the things a lot of people don't like me using the term junkie, but I'm the one out here feeding, addicts. I'm the one that's taking care of them when their families don't give a shit, when they throw them out on the streets with us. Mm-hmm. There's still people, but the thing is, it's difficult to get heard for me because there's so many people like that out here.
Yeah, I have a house and all that shit. Yeah, I'm a junkie, I use every day, but
All this, I've been living in my car in this parking lot for.
You have the green car?
Yep.
Okay, I've never seen you before. I just always seen the car. The first time I ever seen you in the car, that's why I didn't know.
Yep, lots of people know the car.
Yeah, I was like, I've never seen you before. That's why I was like, is anyone? I'm Scott, by the way.
I'm Sean. It's good to meet
You
you.
too. So yeah, I'm always parked fucking random places all the time. I'm fucking. I have a house and shit like that. I fucking.
Oh, nice.
I'll take off my phone and fucking. Not realize it's been fucking 6 hours and fucking. See like, couple minutes like, oh, I guess I'm not going home now. So.
Well, thanks for tossing your snipes out. That'll give you something to smoke other than that
yeah.
nasty tobacco I got.
So I'm just gonna go home. I've been awake for 5 days now. I'm gonna go home and make a big meal and crash and fucking wake up, sick enough to take the box. I'm done.
God, that stuff is so fucked up.
But I'm
But that other stuff is fucked up too. You
well,
got to choose one or the other, and that sucks too.
So like they did me in jail. They fucking dosed me four times, and that was it. And I didn't have any withdrawals. So since I know that dose, that's how I do it. So like when I was in jail, as soon as I got sick, they gave me 2 Suboxone. 12 hours later, they gave me 2. 24 hours later, they gave me 1.5. 24 hours later, they gave me 1.5, and that was it. And that was detox off it. I never had any more symptoms after that, withdrawal symptoms after that. So I have enough right now to where I've been awake long enough that I'll crash and I'll wake up full blown sick. And I'll take 2 of them and just fucking go back to bed and fucking be done with it. I'm fucking done.
Hopefully.
So I've just been done with shit for a while. I gotta do it for the pain. No problem. My doctor's not fucking giving me pain right now.
Yeah, that's how most of my friends ended up dead. They broke their leg or fucked up their back, ended up getting on fucking opiates, and then next thing you know, they're cut off and their pain is still there.
I've been back up twice with smoker.
See, you're permanent. That's the thing, is that they will cut you off, but your damage is permanent. It's back problems, same as mine.
They fucking worker. So I was standing there, bro. I had to get a worker comp doctor. He told me to lean forward, and I moved like 8 inches, like lean forward, and the same backwards and side to side. And they said I was medically stationary. I was good to go. I said that's my fucking mobility. I'm fine. And I had the wrong procedure done on me. They're supposed to do an SI joint injection. They fucking did a different one. I told my doctor about it. She said they did the wrong procedure. So we're just follow up and told them. They said, oh, there's nothing we can do about it. I said, are you fucking kidding me?
Do they even know how to hit the sciatic on that?
Huh?
Do they know how to hit the sciatic on that?
I don't know. I mean, my side, fucking dude, sometimes it'll fucking almost take me off my feet how bad it'll fucking hit me. And people are looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, my fucking, it hits me that bad sometimes.
Yeah, me too. A lot of times my legs won't work. If I have to walk up and down my storage facility, like 4 trips, I'll be stuck in my car, not able to move for 2-3 days.
I worked on my pickup in the driveway one night for like 4 hours. I was bedridden for a day and a half.
Yo.
And it don't help I have lymphedema on top of it. So I don't like to know what that is.
I don't.
Lymphedema is bad circulation in your, I have my lower extremities. So, for life, I have to deal with, shit like...
It's not a right ventricle issue, though. Is it?
This is... What do I look like?
That is a right ventricle issue. Your heart's failing.
No, it's, lymphedema. I have bad circulation in my veins. I'm diagnosed already. And, yes, that's for life.
It is.
And it's a buildup on it. It's fog.
Oh, there's a guy yelling again.
Fucking fog going thick right there. Fuck. Is it coming in?
Yeah. Oh, it gets way thicker.
But
can you hear him screaming over there? All right.
So yeah, my fucking 3/4 of my right calf is like that. When it first happened, I woke up one day and I had so much water under my top layer of skin that like I could shake my leg and my fucking skin would move. So basically, I woke up and my fucking whole leg was basically a water blister. That's what started out. Then when it pops and fucking, it'll never heal, and so fucking, then it gets a buildup on there. And I've had videos of streams of water coming out of my legs. I woke up, I had 1.5 inch fucking deep puddle of water in my fucking pickup for my legs before. I've never had them infected or anything like that. I've always just leaked water out of them.
I'm having problems getting help from the services because I don't use.
Yeah.
They got these dual diagnosis clinics. If you're not a user, they won't accept you.
Yes.
So I smoke pot. I helped pass Amendment 64, but pot doesn't help much.
I'm allergic to THC, so I can't use it.
See, and that happens. But the thing with the homeless shelter thing that they have here is that they won't let me in there if I'm using pot, but they won't accept me at any of the services if they can't pop me in there for a dual diagnosis, because that's where they make all their money. Meanwhile, I'm going to them because they're mandated reporters and the cops won't do their jobs, but they won't do their jobs as mandated reporters because they're getting paid whether they do their job or not.
And tell them it's fucked anyway.
Oh, the whole country's like this. Ever since my friend got her brains blown out, I've been one end of the country finding missing people and protecting kids, and fucking, I even went to prison on false charges. I'm the only person I've ever known that I'm aware of that went to prison on false charges, and they had to drop the charges and let him out of prison. They charged me for, I tried telling on a child molester in Chapel, Nebraska, a registered child molester named Robert Franklin Warnick. He's friends with the sheriff, though. Yeah, it's about like kicking myself in the teeth, but they were threatening my friends and family. I can't have that.
But I mean, Talent County is bad because they get away with shit they should get away with.
Oh, you mean like the police department involved in the human trafficking?
That is only the tweaker world that hears that. I mean, I'm not saying you're tweaker or anything, but it's only the people that do mess you'll ever hear that story from. That's it.
Well, that's pretty much all the people that bother to talk to me are people who are users.
I know, but like people that use opiates or anybody else never hears that story. It's only the people that use meth that hear that story. And nobody, not one person can tell me any of the persons that's ever disappeared.
I've got a list of some of the names, and I've looked a few up. They also let me know about the teacher who was molesting little kids, and then she got off with what was like 7 days she spent in jail. Yeah, the average amount of time that a woman spends for being a child molester is 8 months.
The fucking city police department being sued right now from a former fucking deputy.
Yep, a female, because she got $1,000 less than a male deputy.
Yep, she got fucking less money, and she got documents on like all the other officers getting like 3 raises and she got none. Got sexually harassed and fucking, yeah.
And see, the documentation I have on them shows they committed felonies. What she's talking about is misdemeanors and civil stuff. They committed felonies against me. I'd like to talk to that lady and convince her to roll over on the SOBs. See, the stuff that people are telling me, they're not showing me a whole lot of evidence of it, but the stuff they tell me that I look up, I'm able to find out what's actually been in the news, what's actually been going on in the area.
Like right now, I'm on paper for the false shit. They drug me on my pickup at Fred Meyer's because they said there was a spoon in my fucking pickup and everything, so that gave them probable cause. So when I was on bail release and I got in trouble and all that shit again, so when I went to do the first charges and the affidavit came out, there was no mention of spoons, there was no pictures of spoons or anything like that. So it's like I was illegally drugged out of my pickup and all this shit, and fucking I'm like, so I told my attorney, I said, okay, if we file the motion to get this removed, I said all the other charges behind him get dropped too because of that, right? He goes, no, it doesn't work that way. I said, what? I said, yeah, because
they can press false charges against you if you try to turn them in too. It's against the law for them to do it, but who cares enough to stop them?
Well, the nice thing is I should have did it because the day I had court over it, none of the cops were at court, and it was Trevino, and Trevino's actually a really good judge, and she would have seen the evidence and fucking thrown it anyway, but then I would have been a target with the fucking cops, because they would have fucking targeted me then. And
they target you nationwide. I got targeted by cops in Colorado for telling on dirty cops. I've had to deal with nothing but dirty cops since.
Yeah.
And then you go to the people who are supposed to be mandated reporters for at-risk adults, which is what I am.
Yeah.
They're supposed to have them at the hospital. TFCC is supposed to do that. TCCHC is supposed to do that. Dr. Danelle Boggs is an actual doctor, so she's required by law to do that. None of them have done their jobs as mandated reporters. They pretend that I'm fine and dandy because I'm intelligent, and they use that as an excuse to ignore me. And then when they want to press charges against me, they go, oh, well, he's mentally ill. The only only reason they want to press charges against me is because they committed felonies and I'm trying to turn them in. When you're trying to turn them in, it takes literally years for you to take them through the civil court. Meanwhile, they're supposed to do an investigation.
Yeah.
It's required by law.
And the fucking no one coming to County. Nobody's ever fucking came into Talent County far enough. Like the big lawyers and shit like that from Portland shit needs to come in to fucking tell them I can really fucking start hammering down.
Well, I got recordings of all the cops committing felonies, actual recordings of them committing the felonies, as well as THCC just yesterday.
THCC?
Or no, TFCC. Tillamook Family Counseling Center.
Oh, okay. What'd they do?
Well, they're refusing to do their jobs as mandated reporters.
Oh.
They're supposed to, legally, they're supposed to call it in immediately. There's supposed to be a police officer that shows up, and there's also supposed to be a social worker who shows up from Adult Protective Services.
Yeah, tell us.
And to this day, they still haven't tried that. They keep bullshitting me.
I believe it. Tillamook's fucking, I've lived here my whole life, and it's hard. I mean, there's a few good cops out there, but there's not very many of them. Lockman, a graveyard city, he's actually a decent cop.
Doesn't he work in Garibaldi?
No, he's the little heavier set, black beard and glasses, and graveyard city cop at nights. Did you see the one that was watching me tonight?
Oh, he was watching you?
That black one? Because I was sitting, I pulled in here. Then my buddy is the manager for the car wash and laundromat. So he pulled up he pulled up in his work van and talked to him for a minute. And the cop crept right by us. Then I seen him aiming that way. Then all of a sudden I seen his light turn off. And he aimed this way. So I fucking opened my hood and I was dinking off. And I'm like, I'm just going to wait him out. Because I'll wait him out. Then eventually he fucking finally left.
I get out and I point my camera at him. They know exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't hide it. The way I look at it, you know what? This is the fucking United States of America. Drugs are legal in Oregon, and people are very liberal about speaking about it. There is nothing necessary about hiding it. Now, what is necessary is putting a stop to the abuse. It's making it so people are abused to the point this is all they got left. The gateway drug is trauma, not pot.
Yeah, pot is not a gateway drug. All the time, I remember those fucking commercials back in the 90s and shit where it's, well, Billy shot his friend because he was high on weed. No. Or the girl actually ran the little girl over back into her driveway because she was high on weed. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. Like, come on. I remember those fucking commercials.
Yeah, it's never potheads to start fights with me. It's always alcoholics or people on meth.
Fuck, I know.
And usually it's only when you're trying to be nice about asking them to leave you alone for a few.
Yeah, fucking alcoholics, they fucking, if they fucking, or is set in their mind about something, and you just want to be left alone, they fucking will not leave you alone.
And they don't hear anything you say, and they hit repeat. So then you're on repeat, and they're like, you're talking in circles. I'm like, you keep staying the same ignorance.
Yep, I've ran the bars in this town and shit, so trust me, I know. I know the fucking local that fucking done that shit, and it's like, yeah, come on, man. Like, this person's not doing anything wrong, just fucking leave people alone. It's like one night Christian was yelling in front of fucking Safeway. This fucking lady was in her fucking rig, kept yelling something. I can't remember, it was something. And it fucking pissed me off finally. After like the 20 times she fucking said something. And I'm like, if you're gonna fucking say something, go over and fucking be loud enough for him to hear you. Don't be halfway across the parking lot and not fucking say anything. I said, maybe there's something actually wrong with him. Maybe go ask him if there's something wrong. Something you can do. Instead of just being like, oh, it's a good bag, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up, bitch.
I gotta turn in some bad folks in this town, but people are afraid. I get why they're afraid. But Christian, I've got video footage of him urinating on my vehicle when he said that he wouldn't because he was that fucked up. And nearly every night he was beating on my window at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not that I'm on methamphetamines that prevents me from sleeping. It's these youngins in here hooting and hollering. They like to make the girls scream, which obviously is going to perk up my ears and
Then there's that
pull out the mama
one
bear.
crowd that sits here fucking all the time. I don't know how loud they are. There's fucking the kids that always have the fucking the pickups and shit that are stacked in here.
Yep.
I don't know how loud they are or anything like that.
Well, there's two of them that are really big major issues, but they're not here all the time. But there's 3 of them that, you know, they're not starting problems with me or anything, but they're revving their vehicle up and having drag races here just about every Friday and Saturday night.
Yep. And the cops don't do anything about it.
No, they don't. There's too many hobos to lock up or shoot or
Yeah.
put into a mental institution so their
Yeah.
buddies can make money.
Yeah, if they're doing something wrong. So, yeah, it's true.
We can't tell on bad cops. Not without a friend or family member who gives a shit and has some balls.
Yeah, that's where we're fucking, like I said, that's where the whole out of town fucking people need to come investigate in. You can't have anybody internally investigate because it ain't gonna work here.
Well, it's not going to work anywhere. That's one of the things I've been working on, but these guys use the term mentally ill to try to insinuate that I'm some sort of paranoid, delusional, friggin' druggie.
Yeah, I would
They
say,
even slander me to the other homeless people.
I would say talking to you right now, you're far from that. Because if you're mentally ill, you'd be like Draven over there.
Well, he's fucking crapped out on drugs. As far as mentally ill goes, there's 509 diagnoses in the DSM-5. Not one of those diagnoses is the actual term mentally ill.
What's the DMS? What's that? DSM-5?
The DSM-5 is the American Book of Psychiatry. That's every diagnosis, every mental diagnosis that you can get.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what they call mentally ill. If you've got clinical depression, if you've got social depression, if you've got social anxiety disorder, all of those are considered mental illnesses. Also, if you're considered mentally ill, then by law, mandated reporters who have to report on crimes committed against children also have to report on crimes that are committed against you. If you've ever been called bipolar or been diagnosed with ADHD, if you've been diagnosed even with schizophrenia or delusions, you still are entitled to those same rights under law. But then there's color of law, which means that they get to pretend that they don't know the law. They're stupid as far as the law goes. Cops wouldn't know the law.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of videos lately about fucking cops that are getting owned by people that fucking, like, they'll stop them on the side of the road walking or something like that, and it's like, oh, that's funny how that person knows the law more than that cop does.
They don't. The cop knows exactly what he's doing wrong. He knows he's committing felonies as he's committing them.
And when the people are probably fucking saying all this shit, and then you see the cops start backpedaling, it's funny to watch.
Well, I've caught a lot of people backpedaling. The problem is I don't have any help turning it in. I spoke to Will Chappell of the Tillamook Herald. What's it called?
The Headlight Herald.
Headlight Herald, and they got 4 people doing the jobs of like 6 or 7 people there. They don't have an editor. Will is being the editor. Yeah. They don't have a lot of time or a lot of this or a lot of that.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of jobs that come up and shit because nobody wants to work them, and a lot of people are short-handed. Then when the kids fucking voted the fucking minimum wage to go as high as it did, that was fucking dumbest thing they could do.
We gotta fix the system that has 300 middlemen before raising anything like that is gonna do any good.
What it is the kids need to think, okay, yeah, you're going to start out with more money, but your grandparents' disability isn't going to go up when everything else is going to go up. So you're just screwing your grandparents now.
They're not just screwing their grandparents. We're all getting screwed.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's on disability because like everything else is going up, but their prices aren't going to go up. But all the kids wanted was, $15 an hour. It's like, no, but yeah.
Well, most of these kids ain't grown up in a family that's an actual family either, though. Like, they got to have either split parents or their parents both have to have jobs that are full-time. They're being raised by the other kids in the school. They're being raised by teachers that are fucking them. I mean, literally here in Tillamook, they got to deal with that.
I'm a born and raised dairy farmer, so I know all about fucking work. Yeah, the kids now, they have it too lax. Fucking parents pay for everything. It's like, everything I fucking have, I paid for myself. Because I fucking worked before school, after school, on the fucking farm, all that shit. Fucking, I know.
I wasn't allowed to go out to the farm because my grandpa was a child molester. So we weren't allowed out at the farm. But I got my first job as soon as I got out of the system at 15. I got a job cleaning a place called Cabela's. Mm-hmm. Their corporate offices in Sydney, Nebraska. And while the other kids that I went to school with were spending their summer job money to get cars and talking about how they earned it, how they're badasses, and I'm just a lazy piece of shit. I'm like, hey, I'm feeding 4 people myself, my little sister, my little brother, and my mother, because she's a lazy cokehead. Life happens.
I've been to that state quite a few times. I do not care to go back there.
Yeah, you see everything that there is worth seeing just getting back on the airplane.
All I know is when you go through Montana and Nebraska, it takes so long to drive through those two states.
It does.
It's like 800 miles. It's awful.
I actually exposed a lot of missing people up there in Hardin, Montana, back in 2019. It's the epicenter for missing and murdered Native Americans in the country. The news didn't bring that up until 2019, and the United States government didn't, 2020, and the United States government didn't recognize it until 2021. But I have a stuttering problem, so if I start stuttering or talking funny, I apologize. If I sound southern, I have literally 0 teeth in my face.
No,
so.
you're fine. Like I said, I'm a very patient person. I got nothing but time. And yeah, I got patience like no other.
Oh, that guy screaming about beating those people's asses and all that stuff earlier, that's what got me up and got me out of my vehicle. I was like,
well, he got beat himself a while back. Like, I guess he stole from somebody and fucking, like, 3 people fucking beat him with rebar and shit very bad. And put him in a coma, and he was fucking not raised right. Like, his aunt fucking, like, was molesting him at, like, 10 years old, and he had a hard life.
There's a lot of female predators, and they get a slap on the wrist. Yeah. Like I said, trauma is the gateway drug.
Yeah, fucking, I'd say.
Is there any way I could talk you out of a cigarette?
That was my last one. I would have.
That's all right. I got some tobacco in my car. I can roll into a tobacco, so I'm not completely out.
I'd say if I had more, I'd give you, but that was my last one.
That's all right.
But yeah, fucking, any of the counselors and shit, they'll say fucking, it was fucking the way I was raised, the way I fucking went to bed. Just fucking, I wasn't raised right with my fucking stepdad. He fucking mentally, verbally, and emotionally abused me and my mother and my brother fucking from daylight to dark every fucking day. So I put a fucking strain on a lot of shit.
I got lucky. Most of my bullshit growing up was physical. I could handle an ass whoop, and that emotional stuff kills me, though.
That's what fucking I'd rather had instead of fucking the fucking mental shit.
Yeah.
That fucking really wears on people.
That's one of the things I got to deal with right now is there's a lot of, all right, every single person that I've talked to in this town that's a mandated reporter, well, all right, in this state, period, is a mandated reporter. They lie to me outright. Now, the problem is I know exactly what the laws are here. You know, I do look them up. I do make sure I pay attention to them. And when they outright lie to me, they don't realize they're lying to somebody who has their training. I've watched their videos. I've done the reading. I've gone to their sites.
They fucking think ignorance is the person they're talking to, but not saying it's like another person knows more than you do.
They're trying to play it off like we're retarded. They're doing the same thing the cops do. The cops know that they're breaking the law when they do it. The same thing with Janelle Boggs.
Yeah.
She's a doctor. She used to work at TFCC. Now she works at Tillamook County something or other health.
The health department?
Yep.
Draven, that Draven right there.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it looks like it.
Oh, he doesn't get violent, I'm assuming.
Oh, I know. But he watched dude come up and fucking ask if you got anything. I'm gonna tell him, no, you don't need anything, dude. You need it now.
Right.
But yeah, he came to me like fucking 8 times behind the library last night. You know, if they were smoking, they kept asking. It's like, no, dude, you're not doing anything. It's like, yeah, it's always not gonna pay for anything.
Well, I smoke pot for 2 reasons. Number one, the dual diagnosis clinics won't touch me if I don't touch something.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the homeless community, you know, they're not gonna, those are the people I have to go to for help.
Yeah.
They're not gonna help anybody who they think is a square, because every square is an arc, basically.
Yeah.
Rule number 1, don't talk to the cops. The cops are not your friends. And I break that rule because I'm trying to turn in cops, got my friends killed.
Yeah.
Bonjour. Still breathing? I recognize you. Yeah, I was wondering who it was that was yelling. I think, the 4th time I met you while you were doing that. You feeling all right?
Okay, no, okay, got here.
Ah,
We were screaming all the way down the fucking road.
Yeah.
Going after cars.
yeah, that green truck over there and that gold vehicle there.
And the fucking
Yep.
the SUV
I
that was
remember now.
pulling out of fucking Burger King over here.
Yeah. On the bright side, by the time the cops get out here, they'll come harass me about it.
Honestly, there's a fucking
Never live.
a bad wreck up north right now.
Wait, when did all this happen?
About
Just a few
20
minutes
minutes
ago.
ago.
How about laughing?
Yeah. He definitely overamped a bit.
Yeah. I don't want to hear anything bad.
Oh, I still think you're a person. I think that's Alexander, though. I gotta go give him some cans. Yeah, I can see you. You're not invisible. You're a human being. Alexander! Alexander! I got some cans for you. Shitty. Yeah, I am. Plus, I've been put through the ringer by the mandated reporters for like 30th time, I suppose, in this town. The mandated reporters in this town seem to think that mandated reporting is optional reporting. I sold my kayak, so I made another one.
Made?
Yeah. Works good too.
You got a float?
I've already used it.
Really?
Yeah, I used it up at the sluice up there by oh, it definitely leaks. I can put it together so that it doesn't leak, but it'll take a bit of time to do that. And I basically wanted to see what I could do in 45. I wanted to build the whole thing in 30 minutes. It took me 30 minutes to build that.
How many YouTube videos?
15 minutes to make that, just one. Well, I didn't make it on YouTube video, but I did test it on YouTube video. So you can get on my channel. It's called I Made a Boat. All right. Now there's an actual bag in the back there, but let me grab some of these out here that are in the front because they got a little bit of liquid in them, so I'm just letting you know. God, what's that other one? There it is.
You like those mean beans, huh?
I do. Well, not so much the mean beans. The ones that I like are the caramel ones, but the mean bean is a close second. Hopefully that'll charge up. If it don't, fuck it. Alright, let's thank you for taking me off the hands, by the way. Here's some more for you. What? Oh, double shot? Hell yeah. They're nasty as fuck when I drink them.
I like them. The other ones too, they're good.
I know that's only like I don't know, $1.50, but good start, you know. But I've been trying to make sure that I record every time people start screaming. That dragon color's flipping out again. Hopefully somebody inform you where Christian went here shortly. People know that he's gone, but they don't know where he's at. One person told me they saw him just a few days ago, and Scott over there just told me that Christian's already out of town. He's already moved on. Oh, thank you. I'll start saving the next group in that same exact bag. I'll just call that the Alexander bag. Yeah, stay fucking fugly, fucker. Dude, I'm in a car. I'm luckier than you. Yeah. Oh, I got a visitor. Someone calling themselves Kizmichieks. Alright, so this guy is about as useful as tits on a boar. What do we do with these guys? You know it. I know it. Hide user on this channel. I agree with being drug free, but police are not our friends. Not if you're broke. When it comes to them guys back there, they're still human beings, whether they're on drugs or not. When one of them ends up dead, it makes it bad for all of us. Like that one guy said, he's got his place. He's got a place of his own. He's got a roof over his head. Oh, these are nasty. This shit is fucking evil. And for these services to take advantage of my disabilities the way they do is unconscionable. I'm down to 27% battery. .27% battery ain't much. Anyway, obviously I am out here. It's not a figment of my imagination. Obviously, most of the people that I talk to in the average day are either schizophrenic, on drugs, or both. Obviously, I fight hard for them to be treated like human beings. Obviously, I still use the word junkie. And obviously, I actually do care about these people. There's a lot of these folks that are in this town that have they've been strung out since they were in high school. They hang out with the same people. Natalie Bollinger went to Virginia to try to get clean. To get away from her predators. To get away from Tim Beeson and Ted Bollinger. If you don't do what a woman wants right when she wants, she's allowed to destroy your life. Police officers will do everything they can to prevent you from turning in evidence against them. It's just assumed that you're guilty. That doesn't stop me from speaking up. Anyone who compromised my evidence, stole my evidence, or destroyed my evidence can be pursued by law. My friends get a little bit of leeway because it was the cop's job. Not my job. Not my friend's job. But the police's job to do something about the abuse. And you get to see how fucking useless the cops are. Mandated reporters refusing to do their jobs resulted in long-term abuse, resulted in my predators being allowed to have access to me again and again and again. As far as the situations with the human trafficking and with the sex trafficking, I do have the names of some of the witnesses as well as the officers that they claimed were a part of this. It does need to be investigated, especially since those officers have a history with myself and with others of outright ignoring their jobs, resulting in more harm. Some of the people that are missing are probably just pissed off that I told on them. And some of the people that are missing are legitimately missing. I know where Rebecca Grossnickel Folly is, and she is following instructions. Not my instructions, but the instructions for keeping her safe until she can get a court date. But much like with me, they're not going to allow her such a thing either. She fed us in Boulder, Colorado. But the cops claim that she is making everything up, and her predators claim she's making everything up. And she's a hobo, so it must be her fault. Where the fuck is my lighter? I don't mess with that stuff. I can give you a cigarette. I don't. I live on my disability money, and it's all on a card. You know, I know about being hard up. My drug of choice was alcohol, but if I don't have it, I don't have it. I also know what it's like to be coming down and to be hard up. When I was drinking, I drank a lot. If I had something to hook you up with, I would, just because you were honest with me about what you were going to spend it on.
Oh, I got something that's fancy.
Sure. Would you like me to roll you a cigarette? Oh, you don't smoke?
No, but yours fancy's lighter.
Very cool. That looks like one of the ones they used to have.
It's worth about 50.
Well, I don't have anything to give you. Like everything's on plastic. Sorry about that, Draven. Of course, we got Tina Kotek and her idiot friend. Their idea about mental health is for them to work together. Oh, you mean like they're supposed to by federal law? Federal law. These are federal goddamn programs. Mandated reporting changes from state to state. However, the reasons why we need mandated reporters, why they're mandatorily supposed to report, there absolutely is a reason for it. How many of y'all can tell me what that reason is? How many of you even care? See, well, Tina Kotek and her idiot friend want to say what we all should be doing. That we should be doing the government's job, the job that they're not doing, the job that the cops aren't doing, the jobs that Atonement Family Counseling isn't doing, that TCCHC isn't doing, the thing that nurses like Kimberly Jo Jepson and Terry Wilmoth Jepson. Then there's Mike Jepson, sheriff of Sheridan County, Nebraska. His mom, Terry, works in Broken Bow as a school nurse. They recently had a suicide. That's what Terry Jepson stopped being friends with me over, and her daughter. The things that they did are not what mandated reporters are supposed to do. They did the opposite of what mandated reporters are supposed to do. When you do the opposite of what mandated reporters are supposed to do, you get innocent people killed and you push people to commit suicide. This is why people need to be held accountable, especially if they're in a position of power. My predators did everything that they could to make sure that there was no body recordings, no body cameras ever allowed in the courts. They made it their word versus mine because only my predators spoke up. My friends made zero effort to help turn this in, to help to provide me with any sort of safety. What they wanted to do instead is hide their shame. They wanted to hide the fact that I went to them for help, and they said nothing and did nothing. I got a pretty decent knowledge of explosives. I got a decent knowledge of household chemicals. I've got a decent knowledge of guns and gun repair. Rather than blowing up my opponents or shooting my opponents, I have chosen to try to turn them in. Whereas my helpers, their suggestions seem pretty well confined to threatening to hurt and or kill people. Which apparently is only wrong or illegal if I do it back. It's not wrong or illegal for people to threaten me or to harass me or to prevent me from turning in my predators. But every one of these mandated reporters that I told about crimes that were committed against me, every one of them went out of their way to not do their jobs. Tina Kotek's a fucking moron. And so's that fat black woman who she put in charge of mental health. Are you out of your goddamn mind? We are not represented. The most abused people in this country, out of all adults, men are the most likely to be victimized. 96% of those killed by police last year were men. 60% were homeless. 24% were black. That 24% of people murdered by police last year that were black, that's up from 2019 when it was only 22%. Of course, in 2019, 49% of those killed by the police were homeless. Now it's up to 60%. Who are the police more likely to kill? A black man in a house or a homeless white man? The answer is a homeless white man. If you're someone like George Floyd, you get to die in a lucky fashion. He was choked to death. When it was over, it was over. Thomas Kelly was beaten profusely. His face, his head, his neck, his torso, his body, his arms, his legs. They beat that man to death. I don't get to sleep. Always some tweaker out screaming. You send me to services where people seek out someone like me to take advantage of. The police don't take crimes against us seriously, and neither do our friends or family, neither does the public, because you're all fucking sexist.